ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930 present The Drive. Brought to you by Huntington Federal Savings Bank. Local then, local now. Member FDIC.
It is Thursday, December 5th. Your drive begins now on ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930. I'm your host, Paul Swann. You can join the program anytime by calling the Miller Lite phone lines. How do you do that? It's real simple. 877-420-TALK. That is 877-420-8255. Miller Lite, hold true, great taste. Only 96 calories. It is the original light beer. Well, what are we going to talk about today? I think we're going to start and probably finish with Marshall. Last night, Thundering Herd losing to Akron, 83-75. First big question you got to answer, where was Jansen Williams? He was battling a stomach virus. Kid was only able to go about 9 minutes. At least I was told it was a stomach virus. That's what he was dealing with. So he wasn't really a factor in this game, and I'm sure that it was killing him there. He had a rebound. He had one turnover. Does Jansen in the game make a difference? I think he adds something to that game. I think it's a little closer. It's probably a little bit more competitive. He was finding his shot. I think you have him in the contest. It's a different ball game. And I'm not saying he's the reason why they lost, not being there, but he would have definitely been an added factor into determining the outcome of that game. Now, Jared West in that game had 17 points. I'm always going to expect a good game from Jared. It doesn't matter if it's scoring, if it's defense, but Jared had to be more of a scorer last night. He had to go back and do things like score. 7-15, he was 1 of 3 from the three-point line, hit 2 of his 3 free throws. He had 4 rebounds, had a couple of assists, 4 turnovers. He had 4 steals. I like seeing him in that role where he's an agitator. He's out there doing things, being a bulldog on defense. I like seeing him in that role. I've come accustomed to that. But I like the fact that he's finding some offense as well. Still, he's out there, 17 points. Iron Bennett, 13 points, 5 fouls, though. Got to keep him on the floor. He was out there 20 minutes. You got to keep him out there on the floor. 6 of 9, 1 of 2 from the free throw line. He had 6 rebounds. As I said, 20 minutes, 5 fouls. Got to have him out there more. He's an important part of this team. Tavion Kinsey, 15 points in that game. 5 of 13. Hit all of his free throws, missed both of his three-point shots. He had 3 rebounds. Had 5 assists, 2 turnovers. That's a good ratio. He was out there 38 minutes. And then the other guy in double-digit scoring, Cam Brooks-Harris. He had to pick up the offense. 5 of 6. He was 1 of 2 from the three-point line. He had 3 rebounds total, 11 points. He had 3 assists, 1 turnover, a couple of blocks, and he had 1 steal. This team had 8 steals and 4 blocks. Just 4 blocks. Jansen Williams out there, you're missing, 3 blocks a game right there out of him? So you're missing him. Definitely could have used him. Hustle points, though. If you look at the hustle points and you think, Marshall outscored him 42-31 the paint. All right, Marshall's playing inside, playing well, right? 15 points off turnovers compared to Akron's 9. You're thinking, all right, that's a good stat for Marshall. Second chance points, 11-9 in favor of Akron. It's close, but it's comparable. Fast break points, 3-2 in favor of Akron. And then bench points, Marshall, obviously, more bench points because you didn't have Jansen and Williams out there, so you had to go to the bench more, and 25-15 there. You look at some of those stats and you think, okay, this game, Marshall should have been competitive in this game. And then you look at the shooting, and that's really going to tell you the story. Field goals in the first half, Marshall was 11 of 32. Second half, Marshall was 17 of 29. Got better in the second half. Got a lot better in the second half. First half, 34.4%. Second half, they shot 58.6%. For the game, 45.9%, 26. I'm getting my 6s and 8s mixed up here. 28-61. 45.9%. So they shot better in the second half. 3-point line, 3 of 12. in the first half, 25%. It goes up to 40% in the second half, but they're only 2 of 5. For the game, 5 of 17, 29.4%. Free throws, they shot 75% of their free throws in the entire game. They were 71.4% in the first half, 77.8%, but then you look at the numbers. 5 of 7 in the first, 7 of 9 in the second. They got a few opportunities. And then you look at Akron. How many opportunities do they get? Marshall in that game, 12 of 16, as I mentioned. Akron, 18 of 26 from the free throw line. Now, some of that was late. Not all of it was early on. Really, in the second half, free throw line, 16 of 23. Only 2 of 3 in the first half. They shot 69.2%, but they were 16 of 23. No matter the reason they went to the line, they got a lot more of the opportunities than Marshall. 18 of 26 in that contest. As I said, 16 of 23 in the second half. So you know where the free throws were coming in the second half. And they shot a little bit better than the Herd in the first half. Marshall actually shot better in the second half than they did, but of course the damage was done. They shot 18 of 38 in that first half. They had more opportunity to shoot. They made more baskets, 47.4%. Second half, they only had 22 shots, hit 10 of them. Marshall had 29 shots in the second half, hit 17. And they shot 45.5% in that second half. For the game, 46.7. 28 of 60. So 28 of 60 shooting. Marshall was 28 of 61. But then you look at free throws. That's a big factor in this one. The three-point line, and that's a big factor in this contest. Akron shot 11 of 22 for the game. They were 50%. It was either in or out. It was a 50-50 ball every time it went up in the air. First half, they shot 7 of 14, 50%. Second half, 4 of 8, 50%. For the game, 11 of 22, 50%. 50s across the board, shot 50%. That's an interesting number to me. But that's where the damage was done. The free throw line, the three-point line. And we're going to hear from the players here in a little bit. We're going to get their thoughts. Last night's postgame, we're going to kind of go back and revisit it, see what they had to say. I thought it was a really interesting. Again, you get a guy that goes out there and comes in the press conference, and he basically up front says, look, that's on us. We left some stuff out there. We could have done better. And that was Jared West, Iron Bennett. We're going to hear from those guys here in a few minutes. We'll get your phone calls in as well. You can join us by calling 877-420-TALK. That is 877-420-8255. We will talk about this game, and we will look ahead to the next contest. Marshall's taking on Toledo again. Toledo for the second time. It wasn't pretty the first time. I'm hoping the second time's a better showing from the Thundering Herd. They've got some pieces. They've just got to put them together now. I don't know if this team's going to make a run and win Conference USA, but it's early on in the season, and we're still in non-conference. Once you get to conference, completely different story. Doesn't matter what your conference record looks like unless you don't qualify, because you still have a shot for the tournament. You've got an opportunity. You get into one of the pods. Depending on which pod you're in, you're either locked in or you're going to have to fight to get in. Either way, there's so many opportunities, so I'm not worried about down the run. I'm not worried about that. Right now, I'm not worried about this. It's early. Marshall's playing a little bit better competition. That's good, because this portion of the schedule gets the team ready for the conference set, right? That's the goal. I mean, it's great if you go into conference undefeated or pretty solid, and that's good. You've got that momentum, but I'm actually buying in right now anyway. I'm buying in the way the schedule's worked out. Dan D'Antoni's put together a tougher schedule, playing some better opponents, getting this team ready. And you know what? You listen to his postgame later. We'll have it for you. He talks about, hey, look, we're in that cycle now. I mean, you go up, you go down, you refuel, you reload, you come back up, you go down, replenish. Yeah. Can't be Duke every year. Can't be Kentucky every year. You can't be one of those schools where it's just a constant stream. Everybody else has got to go out and recruit and get guys and then develop that talent. You can't get the All-Americans one and dones. Just can't do it at Marshall. But we're going to talk about all of that. Get your phone calls in as well when we continue with today's edition of The Drive on ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930.
This is The Drive with Paul Swann on ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930. Presented by Huntington Federal Savings Bank.
877-420-TALK, the phone number to be a part of the program today. Our phone lines brought to you by Miller Lite. Miller Lite, hold true, great taste. Only 96 calories. It is the original light beer. Last night, Marshall losing to Akron 83-75. And if you didn't catch the postgame last night, don't worry, I've got you covered. We heard from Jared West. We heard from Aaron Bennett. And these guys took ownership. They get beat. I thought they might get beat by 15 the way it was going. They chip away at it a little bit. They go down by 15 at half. They actually outscore Akron in the second half. They shoot better. It was a closer contest that second half. The damage was done, though. Here's Jared West. Here's Aaron Bennett talking about the loss.
We came out very flat. They got way too many offensive rebounds. They had 15 total. We had 6, so we didn't do our job on our end. You give a team 4 or 5 offensive rebounds, especially early on when they do miss a shot, and give them an extra bucket. You know what I mean? That'll kill you, especially when we come down and we're not scoring. We just got to be better. We came out so flat and sluggish today, honestly, on both ends. I know I have to do a better job of that from a leadership standpoint, you know. But at the end of the day, I think that was the main issue, was our energy and our lack of energy and focus to start the game. You know, we can't dig ourselves a hole every time we come out, you know. So we gotta be better.
Aaron, a little bit of a frustrating night for you. You pick up your second on a double foul, in which it looks like you're getting hooked a little bit. And how difficult mentally is it to overcome that when you see that you're not able to be on the floor whenever the team needs you?
It's very difficult. Just dealing with being in foul trouble and stuff a lot. It's really on me. I just gotta be in better spots and just move my feet and stuff. But I mean, it sucks. It sucks when I'm on the side and I'm in there. I can't help. I can't do nothing for my team but just yell. But I mean, it is what it is. Like Jared said, like we can't dig ourselves a hole like that in the beginning of the game. Like we gotta come out stronger than that. So that.
What do you do to try and overcome that? I know that you all, practices, y'all are going hard, like the intensity there, things like that. Like, do you feel like it's in your head a little bit?
I mean, energy is something that we can all control. You know, that's one thing that's not out of our control, energy and effort. And, we just have to do a better job of that. You know, we can't afford to come out, have bad energy, not play with the energy and focus that we need to play with, and they come out and they're up 10 points by the media timeout. You know, that's tough. I mean, even though there's plenty of game left, they sent the tone for the game and we got smacked in the mouth. So that's all on us. You know, that's not the coaches, that's not the fans, that's not anybody else. That's not even what they're doing. You know, that's all on us. And like I said, I have to do a better job of that. I take partial responsibility for that because maybe I didn't bring the energy like I was supposed to. You know, maybe I didn't do my job from that standpoint. So like I said, that's all on us. That's a mistake that we can control, so we have to do a better job of that.
When you all do get down 8, 10, 12 points, do you feel like the offense presses a little bit and guys either rush or think? I mean, it's almost like a double-edged sword.
Probably so. I know I missed a couple easy ones at the rim early on. You know, Tavion, he probably missed a couple ones that he would like to get back as well. And, when you get down and you miss those shots, it weighs on you a lot more than if it's a tie game or you have the lead. Then Aaron gets in foul trouble, so that kind of hurts our inside presence, and they did a good job of double teaming him tonight to make it hard on him. But like I said, we got to do a better job. We can't force we can't press when we get down. We got to trust the offense, trust our system, and we just got to grind it out throughout the rest of the game.
Jackson, on your old defensive end of the floor, I mean, it seemed like every time y'all tried to double team, he was squirting through and really able to work with Williams pretty well for them tonight. What was the most difficult thing about trying to handle him up front?
They set good screens, they got good spacing, and they made shots. They came out, made a lot of threes, 11 for 22, 50%. I mean, you can't ask for a better performance from three-point line than that. And, a couple of them were contested and late in the shot clock, but at the same time, they got a lot of open ones in the first half. So, Jackson did a good job of getting in the paint, collapsing our defense. I feel like we should have had a couple steals on those skip passes, but we didn't get to them quick enough. They swung the ball around and got threes. And if they missed a three early on, they got the offensive rebound. So that was why our defense early on was pretty bad too.
Did you all, and I didn't know a scouting report on Williams per se, is that something you all expected from him? I mean, it seemed like he hit some outside shots really early.
We knew he was looking to score for sure. On the film, pretty much every time he touched it, he was shooting. Mm-hmm. And but we also saw him airball a couple too. It's like one of those streaky things that he could get hot or he could airball a couple. But at the same time, we didn't make the adjustment obviously as to after he hit a couple to close out maybe a little bit closer or maybe not help off as much. But in the scouting report, we knew he was looking to score. We just didn't do a good job.
Joe, you guys have done a good job of learning from losing.
Mm-hmm.
And what would you say off the top here and now? What did you learn from this loss tonight?
Without watching the film, obviously, and seeing everything, you can't start out sluggish against good teams. A team, they're 6-2 now. They went to Louisville and competed. They went to West Virginia and competed. That's two tough teams. And for us to come out sluggish like we did at home on our home court is not acceptable, and we definitely have to learn from that. Defensively, early on, just wasn't good enough. We gave up too many offensive rebounds. I know that. We didn't do a good job of that. And for as big as we start, we have to do a better job on our end of getting offensive rebounds as well, especially if we're not going to shoot at the percentage that we should be shooting at. So I would say those are probably the main things that we need to learn from. And as we watch the film, we have to get better at it.
Thanks, Jerry.
Good.
All right. There you have it. You've got some insight from those guys. I mean, they're not going to come in there and say anything other than it's on us, right? That's what I expect from Jared West. That's the kind of culture I expect from this Marshall team as long as Jared West is on this team. He's going to come out and say, look, it's on us. We didn't do what we needed to do. We need to do better. Not going to give me excuses. Oh, Jansen was not feeling well. That's a reason, or nothing like that. So I'm encouraged there. And again, you know what? He did his work. He had 17 points. Now they got to work on some defense. Let's be honest. They got to work on a little defense. I think they're doing okay, but still, there are a couple of things I did not like. For example, you had Lauren Christian Jackson. He had 28 points. That kid averages 14.7. Zarius Williams had 25. That guy averages 13.1. They were feeling it. They got some points out there. And Jackson got 28 points on 33 minutes. Williams, he got his 25 in 35 minutes. And again, they shot pretty good from the three-point line. Let's be quite honest here. 11 of 22, 50% the entire game. It either went in or it didn't. It was a coin flip every single time, and they win the game. I mean, Marshall did outscore them in the second half, 43-40. Small consolation there, but you get punched in the mouth 45-30 in the first, and you hold steady with them in the second. You take that second half performance, and if you could have got more of that in the first, we're talking a different ball game. But the second half performance, they win. They win the game based on the second half performance. First half performance, not so much. Damage done, punched in the mouth. Move on. Let's see if you can get a win against Toledo. I tell you what, we'll hear from Dan D'Antoni. We'll get his thoughts on this one and then we'll put this one to bed when we continue with today's edition of The Drive on ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930.
Don't worry. Paul Swann has the wheel on The Drive, ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930.
Welcome back to the December 5th edition of The Drive on ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930. I am your weather-beaten host, Paul Swann. Our producer, Gabriel Sellers, this hour. We'll take your phone calls at 877-420-TALK, 877-420-8255. Don't you love and hate this time of the year at the same time? I mean, we get all of the basketball action we can handle. We're getting down to crunch time for football. And it's darker outside, and the weather's nasty. I guess that's a good reason why we have basketball this time of year, so we can all go inside, keep warm, watch all the action inside the cage. And one guy that probably lives that lifestyle more than anybody, heats things up in a basketball arena, Dan D'Antoni. Now, yesterday was not a prime example of Marshall basketball, at least that first half. Marshall got punched in the mouth. And let's be honest, that's a good Akron team. They came in Huntington. That's a team that played very tough with West Virginia, and that's a good team. This is a team also that played very tough against Louisville, and that's a good team. So their two losses, two of the better teams in college basketball right now, and they were competitive. They were close losses. They put scares in both those teams. So this wasn't a bad team you lost to by any stretch of the imagination, and they came out and they punched you in the mouth, and then at least Marshall responded in that second half. Let's find out, however, how the coach felt about it. Here's Dan D'Antoni from last night.
Came out flat early, and that was our juniors. A little disappointed in how they came out and competed. They had 4 or 5 offensive rebounds in a row. We didn't seem to be able to hit shots and make the big plays. That put us in a scramble mode. Then Iron gets in foul trouble. And Gorin, a little bit slow and inexperienced to play that little guard and the pick and roll and what they did. And we'll get on that and look at it and make sure we see if we can't shore that up. Try to look at the positive. I'll tell you, when I'm over there, you want to know what the feeling I had. I thought I was back to year one, where I'm sitting over going, I hadn't seen things like that happen ever in a basketball game. But that's a young team. You forget about John and CJ and the discipline they had in their ball game, and these kids haven't yet got that. They haven't found it yet. We're going to get a little bit better, I think, with Andy Taylor. Don't want to put too much on him. He hasn't played in a year and a half, but I think we need another ball handler out there that plays more like a point guard. And I think he'll give that to us. So all in all, it's a long season, and things can flip pretty good. We're still, again, to play that bad offensively, we usually get beat in the last 3 or 4 years. We get beat 30 points. But this team has got some things that they can make and do. They're long, and they can play defense decently. They don't, they shot 46 from the field, which is not bad for a good shooting ball club. So, again, we've got a lot of work ahead of us, and great crowd. Appreciate them coming. I hope that they will stay with this young team and they give us the support we need. It's easy to support when you don't need it, and we need you now to stay with us and let this team grow with y'all pushing them forward.
What did Jackson do the most? I know that Jared's an experienced defender, but it seemed like
well, he got picked off by the pick and roll,
yeah.
And then we were playing a zone back and letting him come into but then they have a real good pop guy, and we didn't do a good job on their it's a kind of a high-low type of situation where it's roll and replace, where the guy comes back out on the backside, George helps down inside, or our forward helps down inside, then they throw it to the outside and he shoots a 3, makes it. Then you hurry down there and you hurry back up there, and then they stay on here. Same thing we've been doing for years. Same thing we do, and it's difficult to guard if you got guys that know how to pull it off. But we got to get into that little guy a little bit better And Iron does a pretty good job of knowing kind of when to fade back and get his hands on. Gorin, really struggles with that. He doesn't know yet, but he's capable. We'll see if we can't make him a little bit better after this game.
What happened with Jansen?
Sick. That's all I heard. He was throwing up in the locker room.
Coach, you opened the year with a big win at Cincinnati 1-5. Where are you starting to notice some of the struggles in this stretch?
As soon as I look at the roster of the other team, I mean, we're playing Notre Dame, who's supposed to be upper half ACC, with a young team now, with a brand new team basically. Florida, ranked 6th at the beginning of the year. Toledo, supposed to win the MAC. Who else is in there?
College Charles.
Oh, College Charles is supposed to win the Colonial. I mean, that's what happens when you get. We're in a cycle. We're in our replenishing cycle, and they're in their ending part of the cycle, and that happens. Maybe it's a lot of coaches wouldn't do it as I would do it. In that, I think it's going to make us better, and we're going to be stronger at the end of the year. A lot of coaches will look and say we got to do it by wins and confidence. I mean, whichever way you want to look at it. But you can schedule. I could have scheduled 6 wins. It'd been easy. We don't play Notre Dame. We don't play Florida. We go out and find. I won't name names because then I'm throwing off on them. I can find 4 more teams that we could beat. We could be looking at a 6-1 or whatever schedule. But I don't do that. I want to play the best teams. These kids are going to learn. Don't panic. It's not the end of the world, and I think we'll get better and grow from it.
Given how well you all played against Florida for all of about 8 minutes, was the flatness especially frustrating simply because you were coming off a little bit of a high?
Could be. I don't know. You got a young team. I'm sitting over on the sideline trying to get a grasp of where to go and a rhythm. We don't have one. They're jumping all over the place. I don't know where Cam's going to run to. I got no feel. George should, but I don't. He's out. His body's going in every different direction I've never seen. And, you're sitting out there going, geez, what do you do? But we started grinding it down a little bit. We can get into iron some. I got to find which ways to get him the ball. One time he got a little bit too far out, and he didn't look real good. So we're going to have to, limit that so that when he catches out there, he's passing and then getting a deeper seal. I thought Tavion's got to learn to quit trying to always get all the way to the basket and to pull up. And he's shooting a little jumper in practice, and he does it pretty well. But he doesn't trust it enough yet. We got to get him doing that. Jared's got to stay tough for us and just grind things out. Cam Harris, I thought, he only had 1 turnover. How many turnovers did he have? He had 1 turnover. That's a big deal. 3 assists to 1. That's huge. He had 2 blocks. I thought he played well. He's 5 of 6, 1 of 2 from threes. Good numbers. If you look at our offensive numbers, they got better. 46% from the floor, almost 30 or 29.4 from threes, and 75% from free throw line. That's better. We're getting better in that regard. We still haven't made the big points. I thought had a couple of times where we got down to 12 and we end up having maybe 2 shots of getting it below 10, and then they go down and hit a 3. But I thought Jeremy Dillon gave me good minutes, and I was sometimes when you get out there and you see him every day in practice, you don't see the good side. You're always worried about what you don't like. And what I saw tonight, he gave us good minutes. Aaron, I said, is going to grow, and Jared's always going to be tough. He's a tough little competitor. So, down the road, I looked out there. I think we had one time when Jared was on the bench, we had 2 sophomores and 3 freshmen, and that's tough to play a team that's graduate, transfer, graduate, transfer, redshirt junior, and 3 seniors. That's tough, and make an old man out of me if I ain't already. But, I don't give up very easily, so, and I don't think our kids will either. And we've got to work on getting a rhythm for our offense and define define what we can do and where we can score from. And it's going to take a little time. And John's had the ball in his hand for the last 4 years, and it was all created from him. And now we're having to do it a different way. So that's new for Jared, new for Jansen, new for Michael Myers, new for Iron. You know, the freshmen don't know, but the rest of them, it's all brand new.
How difficult has the process been for Ira? Not just to get his weight down, but it still seems like because of his size that some calls can go against him. And
Well, I
so
thought the
probably than anybody
last
else.
call was a tough call. You know, I'm not saying it's right or wrong because I don't want to get fined or
Right.
have people call me, but I thought it was a tough call. I thought he blocked it, and but he's big. He's going to get those. He can't get the silly ones. He has a technical foul on him. That's just not being smart. And that's growth too. See, he's only played about a half a year.
Yeah.
So it's not like he's a 1 year veteran. He's about a half a year veteran, never started. And now all of a sudden now he's a focus. And that's a big jump. And but I like what I see. I know this, when he does things the way he can and does it right, you can't stop him. He's unstoppable. So all we got to do is find multiple places to get that done for him. And that's going to take a little feel by me and a feel from our guards. Our guards have got to learn how to find him and set him up. And, maybe adding another ball handler out there with Andy, that might, it just takes 3 or 4, and then all of a sudden things flip on the other side. Defenses get nervous. They start doing crazy things like we got nervous, and then it gets easy. So, we'll see. We'll see.
In the case of an iron, is there any way that you can teach a player to get a feel for the officiating of a game, especially in his scenario?
There are a lot of solutions that you can write on the paper, and there's a lot. And I go back because I think it's a perfect example. If you got a kid that can't walk and you're holding him up, it don't matter whether you hold him up with the left hand, with the right hand. If he's not ready to walk yet, you can have somebody else come and hold his hands up. He's going to fall because he's not ready. He's not ready. You can't go and say, well, if we change the offense here, or we do this. And I know all the coaching geniuses that are out there got a better way. And it's easy from there. And it's so much difficult when you sit where I am. And it just happens. I've been around this game for a long time. We had a Sauk City high school team went 3-21. I think it was close to that. 3-21, my worst year ever. And the next year, same starting 5, came back. It was 26-2. So they weren't ready. They were freshmen and they were trying to play seniors, and they couldn't do it. Just can't do it. So, it's a game. I think we represent Marshall well. It's still a fun game to watch. You still see some great plays, and we'll try to make more and more and have our fan base come out here and support us. And let's enjoy the year and Christmas as it comes up, because I'm looking forward to it. Got my tree decorated. I'm ready to roll.
Dan D'Antoni getting that tree ready. We'll wrap this one up when we continue. Today's edition of The Drive on ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930.
You're listening to The Drive with Paul Swann on ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930.
We're wrapping up today's edition of The Drive on ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930. So we're going to put this one to bed now. Marshall, Akron, it's over. It's done with. We turn our attention to Toledo. That'll be Sunday. Next home game is going to be against Bluefield State on Wednesday, December 11th. That's at 7 o'clock. Both those games you can catch right here on ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930 and 93.7 The Dog. So we've got you covered. We're going to find out on Sunday. We don't know when, but we're going to find out on Sunday where the bowl is going to happen. And I've got a few responses from you on Twitter, and I'm still trying to get your ideas. Where do you want to go for the bowl? Where's your bowl destination? If you can pick a bowl, I'm going to put it in your hands. You pick the bowl. You tell me where Marshall should go. I'm also going to give you the power to not go to a game. Say you don't have the power to pick the bowl you want to go to. But I'm going to give you the power to refuse. Where is the worst destination in your mind for a bowl? Where don't you want to go? And so far, I have gotten, and really, let's be honest with you, I think I've only got one that's rejected Dallas. Not Dallas. That was one reply on Twitter. Frisco or Fort Worth, so that's an opportunity for Herd fans. New Orleans or New Mexico. So those seem to be what's up in the air right now for Herd fans. Not many people are fans of Dallas. I don't know why. It's Dallas. It's a great city, right? Dallas, Fort Worth area. It's Texas. I know. Texas. I get it. I understand. You want to go somewhere nice, like New Orleans. I get that. You want to go somewhere warm. You want to go to Florida. I get that. New Mexico, it's warm. You want to go there. I get that completely. So I'm taking your replies right now on Twitter at Paul Swann. I'm really not pushing it, not really like a poll or anything there. Just sort of a straw hat poll, impromptu. Just give me your ideas, give me your thoughts, and we'll talk about it all week, as we still don't know where Marshall's going to go. Nobody knows where Marshall's going to go. No idea whatsoever. It's crazy. Usually you kind of have an idea by now where Marshall might be going. You haven't heard any grumblings, rumblings, releases, leaks, speculation that has any merit. You haven't heard any of that. So as soon as we find out, we'll share it with you. And, of course, we'll definitely talk about it as Marshall. We're going to find out on Sunday, I believe, where Marshall's going to go for the bowl. And then hopefully we can get all excited and re-energized for football again, because I kind of got a feeling for right now, some of you not as excited or energized for football. Basketball yesterday was a disappointment for you as well, so let's hopefully get this turned around for next week. All right, we're wrapping the show up, and before I go, I found out today's International Ninja Day. Are you into that? Gabriel Sellers, our producer, is actually giving me ninja chops in the studio. Gabriel, talk to me, brother. Are you seriously into this? You got to actually pull the microphone down to your face. I know you're not used to that. Are you into this?
It's been years, mate.
You like the ninja movies?
Yeah.
What's your favorite? Do you have a favorite?
I can't choose a favorite.
If you could watch one right now, what do you go to?
I
mean, there's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
That works.
You like that one?
That works.
Okay. I'm trying to narrow it down. I've got two I'm trying to narrow down because I'm going to watch hockey tonight. I got Rangers and I got Blue Jackets. I got to watch that. But afterwards, I'm going to go in and find a ninja movie just to celebrate, because as a kid of the 80s, born in the 70s, child of the 80s, love me some ninja movies. I'm either going to watch American Ninja or the better sequel, American Ninja 2, which is better than American Ninja. Don't watch American Ninja 3. That one was terrible. Or I'm going to go Chuck Norris and watch The Octagon, because it's got Chuck Norris and it's got ninjas in it. That might be my winner right there. The Octagon with Chuck Norris. It's a great movie. Whatever I can find on the streaming services, because right now until Netflix cancels, I got Netflix, I got the Hulu, I got the Amazon. I got all the major streaming services. That's changing, though. I'm cutting back, the holidays. So if you want to loan me your Netflix login, hey, we can talk. That's going to do it for this edition of The Drive here on ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930. Hope you had fun. If you're not having fun, we're going to do it all over again tomorrow and try to make it even better for you. For Gabriel Sellers, he's going to be binge watching some Ninja Turtles. I'm down with that, man. I'm good with that. That's okay. Those are classic films. I'm probably going to watch some Chuck Norris. I mean, come on, it's Chuck Norris. This is The Drive on ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930. Good night, everyone.
WRBC Huntington, W227BS Huntington, your flagship home of the Marshall Thundering Herd and The Drive with Paul Swann, ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930.